Hey everyone, I have some cards today using this awesome stamp from Technique Junkies. It's called Relax Your Body. It says, Relax your body, calm your mind, renew your spirit, and it features a hammock. And I know a lot of you out there have a hammock. You love hanging out in your hammock on a nice day outside. So I thought I'd make a few cards to celebrate everybody who loves to hang out in a hammock and also for those of us who wish we had a hammock to relax in. And I like the saying on this one: relax your body, calm your mind, renew your spirit. To create my first card, I'm going to emboss it with embossing powder. So I take my embossing buddy and I rub it against this cardstock. My cardstock is Hammermill Premium Color Copy Cover. This is 80-pound paper. I'm going to use some Versa Fine Clair Nocturne ink, which is a black pigment ink, to do my embossing. I stamp the image onto the paper, and because it's a pigment ink, it's going to stay on top of the paper and it's going to be a little bit wet so that I can do some embossing next. So I use my Nuvo clear embossing powder. I sprinkle it over the stamped image, and what is remaining I can sprinkle into this coffee filter and then use it to funnel the embossing powder back into its little bottle. Next, I'm going to use my heat tool to heat this up and melt the embossing powder so that I get a nice dark embossed image. I'm going to use Korean marker. This is number 106 henna. I'm going to use this to watercolor my embossed image. So basically, this is an embossed resist, and the watercolor pen that I'm using just has water in it. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab um, some more ink, lay it down on this acrylic block, and then pick it up with this water brush. I don't have a lot of water on my brush, just enough to be able to get this image colored in. This method's not giving me the brown color that I was looking for, so I'm just going to go straight in with my Korean marker right over top of the areas that I have embossed. So I'm basically just coloring it in, and it's creating some color to the hammock. This is called Emboss Resist because it's only going to color in the parts that weren't embossed by the stamp. I'm going to use my heat tool just to dry that. It's just a little damp from the water brush. Once I have this dry, I'm going to cut it out with my scissors. Just going to fussy cut around the image, around the words. This stamp is part of the new release that came out August 1st. I'll have a link in the description box below this video where you can find the Technique Junkies website. And for those of you who are new to my channel, I would love it if you would hit subscribe and ring the bell. That way you'll be notified of all my future videos. Don't forget, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to do one more thing with this image before I adhere it to the panel. I'm going to use some Korean marker. This time I'm using blue, and I'm going to again use my water brush pen. I'm going to color in the area where the words are and where the hammock is. So this is what it looks like when I'm done watercoloring it. It's just a nice blue. And this one will go on top of this panel. So about the panel, I've got a yellow card base. I've got this basket weave type die from my stash. I cut it out in teal, and then I cut it out in craft cardstock, and I placed it so that there's dimension. So it looks like two layers. Basically it reminds you of lattice. something that you might see out in the garden or somebody's backyard. But putting the two pieces together and just changing their orientation is how you create this look. Okay, so now it's time to put our hammock on, but as I was creating this card, I was thinking about hammocks and I thought about how they hang between two trees. So I went and got these dies out of my stash, these birch tree dies, and I just decided I would put them on my cover. So I've got the two birch trees, and then in the middle, the stamped image itself. It's all one image with the sentiment, and this is what it looks like when it's all done. So I made a few more cards using this stamp. I picked up some papers from my stash, and some of them are rustic, like Americana style papers. I thought I might try using those. And I have some ivory cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the image on this ivory cardstock using some brown ink. I used Catherine Pooler ink over coffee, which is a brown ink. I'm not going to emboss these. I'm just going to stamp them directly to the paper, and then I'm going to use my oval die, which has a stitched edge around it, to die cut the stamped image. This is what it looks like on the ivory paper. I decided to try it on linen colored paper, which is very similar to ivory, but it has a more antique look to it. Again, I'm going to use Catherine Pooler ink, and the color I'm using is over coffee. I'm stamping it twice. The next color that I have of paper is a teal cardstock. I'm going to stamp that with Catherine Pooler Archival ink Midnight, which is black. And now I have a piece of light blue paper, and I'm stamping the image with Catherine Pooler Archival ink, which is black. I placed all of these stamped images in the oval die cut and cut it out with the oval. Now I'm just matching some pattern papers to create a layered card. This one has a red mat with some floral images on top, and I used the ivory stamped with brown ink on a black card base for this card. Okay, then I have a green card base, and I have a floral paper that's got blue, yellow, and green in it. And then I have the round oval stamped image on that light blue cardstock. So that's my third card. And for my fourth card, I've got this real pretty striped paper with some teal pattern paper underneath. And then I'll go ahead and put the oval stamped image that I have in the oval on the teal paper. And I think this is very cheerful and colorful. I like the way those turned out. Very simple. It's only 3 layers. The one that I didn't show you that I created on the bottom left, I used a wood grain pattern paper and a chevron pattern paper, and I rounded the corners on the 2 cards on the left, but the 2 on the right I left with the square edge. And here's the finished cards. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please remember to give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and have a hopeful day. Bye-bye.